your Uncle Dave who loves dogs and he comes in like, puppy! And, that might be the very end goal.
Okay. Hey guys, I'm Louise.
And I'm Jake.
Together, we run Red Pointy Dog Training, a small dog training business based out of Stratford, New Hampshire.
We specialize in training and behavior modification for dogs. Whether your dog needs help learning the ropes or modifying their aggressive behaviors, we'll help you reach your goals.
Through the use of positive and practical methods, we will coach you through your struggles and help to improve communication with your dog. So sit down, stay, and get ready to learn all things dog.
Hi everyone, I'm Jake.
And I'm Louise.
And together we are Red Pointy Dog Training, and we're here with another vlog for you all. And today's topic is pretty special and pretty important.
Very important.
And that is, it's all about taking baby steps in your dog training.
Baby steps.
So our job as dog trainers is to help you meet your goals.
Right.
And like Louise always likes to say is, we are there to help you meet your goals.
Right. So we help you set goals that you feel like you are appropriate to your dog. And, you guys as a team, not what we think is important. We always say, we don't care if your dog begs at the table if it's not a problem for you.
Yep.
But if it is, then we should work on it.
Exactly, yeah. We want to help you identify what issues you're having and ways to help solve them. One mistake a lot of people make is they look too broadly.
Right.
They try and take steps that are way too big. So instead of, looking for little things, they just want, he should just listen.
Right. You're looking at the end goal and training in that final stage, and that's not appropriate.
Exactly, and that's where we come in. We can come in and help you break those big goals down into achievable steps.
So there are a couple key points to the reasons why it's so important to break down your dog training and your people training into small, easily achievable steps. And this is important for whatever species you're teaching, whether it's dogs or children or adults. It's important that you break it down. And one of the first key reasons why it's so important to break your dog training down into smaller steps is for ease of teaching. We love dog training. We find dog training to be fun and I won't say easy, but it's motivating. It's something we enjoy doing. But if you are setting yourself and your dog up to fail by asking for too much too soon, it is no longer fun to teach your dog to do things. And that is not where we want you to be as dog owners. That's not the type of relationship we want you to have with your dog. We want you to be motivated to train your dog so that your dog behaves for you and so you meet your goals. So you will also be seeing your dog succeed by doing baby steps and small incremental learning over time. And that is just going to continue to motivate you to keep teaching your dog. We really want to make sure that as your dog's teacher, that it is easy for you to teach them and that you're enjoying doing it as well.
So the second key point in taking baby steps is ease of learning, and that means for your dog. So if you're reaching these huge goals, taking these huge steps, then your dog's probably not along for the ride with you. They're trying, but they just aren't ready for what you're asking maybe. And that leads to frustration in your dog. That leads to usually you getting frustrated with your dog.
Yep.
And it can lead to bad behaviors that we don't want, like especially in adolescent dogs or puppies. It can lead to more mouthing. It can lead to a little bit of destruction after. Frustration leads
Nobody wants that.
No, not at all. Frustration doesn't lead to good things.
Right.
And then same thing, the next time you grab your treats and clicker, if you had a really frustrating session, then your dog might not want to work with you.
Right.
And if your dog doesn't want to work with you, you're not going to get anywhere.
Yep.
Or if you do get anywhere, it's going to be teeny tiny little things.
Yeah,
You're taking steps
like,
backwards instead of taking steps forward.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
Break those big goals down into baby steps, and it makes life easier for your dog too.
Right. And when it's easier for them to learn, they're more motivated to learn.
And it's more fun.
Yeah. We always, one of the things we always think about is errorless learning. How can we set up the situation so your dog can succeed without error? That's perfect case scenario. That doesn't always happen.
Yeah. There will be little mistakes here and there, but
right.
The more we can eliminate them, the better.
Right. Exactly.
The training's going to be, the quicker your dog's going to learn.
Yep. So the third key reason why we want to break training down into baby steps is momentum. We all want to build momentum in our training and, everything that we do so that we can really hit our goals and see progress quickly. In the beginning, it feels like you're watching paint dry. Those steps should be so small that you're barely making progress. But each time you add a little bit more, and you back up where you need to. And very quickly, those little steps add up to big success over time. And once your dog learns how to make those baby steps and they're working on their progress and they're building that momentum, they're able to take bigger steps over time. So, it's because you're building their foundation. They're learning how to learn. They're learning how to work with you. And the more consistent you are with that and the more you set them up for success, the easier it will be for your dog to really go from baby step, ground zero, to that big goal in a short period of time. We really want to build that momentum.
Yeah, the stronger and wider your foundation is, the quicker you're going to be able to build up.
Right.
With not just the thing you're working on now, but that foundation will be there for later as well.
Is now a good time for an Office reference?
Always.
Do you remember that episode where, was it Plop is building a card tower with the complaint cards? Yeah. He's building a really wide, strong foundation. And Kevin's like, you want to build it up. You want to build it tall. Up.
You want to build it wide,
so
but
it supports
this
everything.
Yes.
Okay.
We're massive Office nerds. We've watched the whole series. This is our third time through.
Yeah,
right now,
probably third time. Yeah.
Probably 7 or 8 for me. But that's off topic.
Anyway. Bonus material.
Yeah, think of it like that card tower. If you got this little tiny base, then it's going to be really flimsy and get flimsier the closer you get to it. So even if you get that end behavior, it won't be as strong as if you take the time to build that foundation.
Right, exactly. So ease of teaching, ease of learning, and momentum. So those are the 3 things to keep in mind. But let's give you an example of how you can do that.
Yeah, and something that we get called for super often is dogs jumping on guests.
Right.
And if anybody has an exuberant dog, they've dealt with it. Almost any dog, whether they're exuberant or not, dealt with some jumping at some point or another.
Yes. I was thinking about Piper jumping up off of my arm this morning to get her ball.
Yes.
Super fun.
She does vault pretty well, though.
Yeah, she should
impressive.
be, but yeah.
That's
not our goal.
So not jumping on people, that sounds like a simple goal, but if you think about it, there's a lot going into it.
Yeah.
And if you just, hey, guests are here, let's see how you do, it's not going to go well.
And if you're only saying, okay, you're jumping on guests, I'm going to interrupt them when they jump on a guest and, punish them or give them a timeout, that is asking them to do something they don't know how to do in a really exciting environment and situation. You're setting
really
them up
difficult
to fail because it's a challenge they're just not ready for.
Yeah, so in order to break down that big goal, you want to take that big goal and think of small ways to help you get there.
Right.
And so, for example, teaching your dog place could be really helpful for that. Mm-hmm. So you take, my big goal is them not jumping. So what are some tools I can have that can replace that? And that can look like, teaching your dog place maybe, and setting up a greeting routine. So, the guest calls, so I can have my dog on leash so we can practice these things.
Right.
And just knowing, having those 2 things, working with your dog while they're really excited, because that can be really difficult for a lot of dogs, especially young dogs. When they're really amped up, they might not even hear your voice. So working in controlled environments so they're able to work while they're excited can go a long way too.
Right.
And then you take these little tiny steps and then you bring it to, your Uncle Dave who loves dogs, and he comes in like, "Puppy!" And, that might be the very end goal.
Right.
But you can take those small steps to get there eventually.
Right. So you could look at step 1 as being, just foundation. Work on place, work on stay, work on sit, attention to name. Those things don't even have to exist in the same space as your greeting behavior does, and they shouldn't in the beginning. That's part of that foundation work, and that really needs to happen long before you expect your dog to be able to perform well in an exciting environment. Exactly. Second step could be using management tools, like a leash or a baby gate or both, when someone comes over, so it's easier for you to then ask them to do something that's difficult and they're unable to self-reward by blowing off your request because they really just want to greet that person. And maybe that person is a family member. Maybe it's somebody that your dog already knows and is like, oh, that's just my dad who's lame, and I don't really need to go up and say hi to him because he was literally just here.
Yeah, using family members who have been in the house for a while.
So they can practice that physical behavior without as much excitement.
Definitely. That's a really good.
And then maybe step 3 is asking, for a longer stay when that person comes in. And maybe step 4 is asking them to stay while dad knocks on the door and comes in. And maybe step 5 is letting them go up and say hi on a leash, but you're still with them in case they make a poor choice, and slowly building up from there. And Jake, what do they do if they're making baby steps and your dog fails?
Well, failure is always going to happen.
Yeah.
It's really easy to try and ask your dog for too much. So if you notice that maybe your dog is breaking their stay over and over again, just take a small step backwards.
Yep.
So whatever you were doing before that was working, go back to that and just really reinforce that for a few times. Then you probably want to end your training session.
Yeah.
You always want to end on a good note, and then when you come back next time, then you can take that next small step where they struggled that before. Go back a step, really get that one super solid, and then move on to that where they struggled again.
And something that we always ask people to do is to actually make a plan. So we're telling you, break these steps down into small steps. Don't just do it in here.
Yeah.
Because you will forget, and what you're doing in your head is different than what your husband is doing, which is different from what your kids are doing, and it's definitely different from what your pet sitter is doing. So actually write it down so you know, okay, this is my goal. Identify that goal with your family and work back at least 10 steps. What are you going to work on to help your dog meet that goal? And when are you going to course correct if you need to? And even just taking some notes after every training session, so you're like, wow, Fido did great with step 2 today, ready for step 3. Or he barked like crazy and jumped on our guest at step 3. We need to recalibrate and adjust the steps so that it's easier for your dog to learn.
Yeah, and be flexible. Don't feel like, okay, this is a plan, this is how it needs to go. If you realize, okay, this step between step 2 and step 3 is way too big, what's something in the middle so we can make our way to that next step.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks so much for tuning in for this episode of the Pointy Dog vlog, or whatever we're going to call it. And we're excited to hit you back again next month.
Yeah, next month.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Have fun
everyone.
setting your dogs up with little bitty baby steps. Let us know how it goes in the comments below. And if you need help breaking down your dog's goal behavior, if you're struggling with that, let us know in the comments below. We'll help you work through that as well.
Yeah. Just remember that big old card stack with Kevin and Plop. You'll get there.
Want to build that foundation out, not up. Bye for now. Thanks for watching. If this video was helpful, give us a thumbs up below. If you feel you or your dog learned something, hit the subscribe button for more videos just like this. And if you're looking for more dog training tips, be sure to check out our blog at redpointydog.com.